This green-haired beast isn't just Luffy's right-hand man. He's a walking legend in his own right. Zoro's been with us since day one, slicing and dicing his way through the Grand Line. But get this, our man Zoro isn't just about sick sword skills. Nah, he's got layers like the world's toughest onion. We're gonna peel back those layers and see how this dude went from a seemingly simple character to someone we'd all die for. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be Team Zoro for life. Okay, let's rewind to when we first met Zoro. Picture this, dude tied to a post looking all mean and scary. That was our introduction to the future greatest swordsman in the world. Not gonna lie, at first glance, some people thought Zoro was kinda boring. I mean, he was strong, sure, but he seemed like your typical tough guy character. You know the type, all muscle, no depth. But oh boy, were we in for a surprise. Oda, that sneaky genius, had plans for Zoro that would blow our minds. It's like he planted a seed that would grow into the most epic character arc ever. Now let's talk about what makes Zoro tick. It all goes back to his childhood and a girl named Kuina. These two were like rival/best friends at their dojo. Kuina was a prodigy, beating Zoro every single time they fought. But here's the kicker. They made this crazy promise to each other. One of them was going to become the world's greatest swordsman no matter what. Sadly, Kuina died soon after. But Zoro, he took that promise and ran with it. It became his whole reason for living. That's some heavy stuff for a kid, right? But it's what makes Zoro who he is. Every time he picks up a sword, he's not just fighting for himself. He's fighting for Kuina's dream too. If there's one thing you gotta know about Zoro, it's that his word is his bond. This dude takes promises more seriously than most people take, well, anything. It's like his own personal code of honor. Remember when we first met him? He was tied up because he made a deal with that annoying Helmeppo guy. Zoro could have broken out easy, but nope. He gave his word, so he stuck it out. And it's not just about keeping promises. Zoro's all about respect, loyalty, and doing what's right, even when it's tough. This isn't just some character quirk. It's the core of who Zoro is. It's what makes him stand out in a world of pirates where everyone's out for themselves. Alright, now we're getting to the good stuff. Zoro versus Mihawk at the Barati. Holy crap, what a moment. This was Zoro's first real test, and boy, did he go all in. Mihawk shows up looking all cool with his big sword, and Zoro's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight that guy. Everyone's freaking out, but Zoro, he's dead serious. He knows he might die, but he doesn't care. That's how badly he wants to achieve his dream. Mihawk totally wrecks him. But here's the thing. Zoro refuses to back down. He'd rather die than give up on his dream. It's insane, it's inspiring. And it's the moment we all realized Zoro was something special. This fight wasn't just a loss for Zoro, it was the beginning of his journey to true greatness. Now let's talk about the bromance of the century, Zoro and Luffy. At first, Zoro joined Luffy's crew kinda on a whim. It was like, yeah, sure, I'll be a pirate, whatever. But man, did that change fast. With every adventure, every fight, every crazy Luffy scheme, Zoro's loyalty grew stronger. It's like watching the world's coolest friendship develop in real time. Zoro starts to see that Luffy isn't just some goofball, he's a leader worth following. And Luffy? He totally trusts Zoro, even letting him take charge when things get rough. By the time they reach the Grand Line, these two are practically telepathic. It's not just captain and first mate anymore. It's two brothers ready to take on the world. Okay, real talk. The Water 7 arc was intense, especially when it came to Zoro. So Usopp and Luffy have this big falling out, and Usopp leaves the crew. Later, when Usopp wants to come back, Luffy's all ready to welcome him with open arms. But Zoro, he puts his foot down hard. He's like, nuh-uh, not without an apology. At first you might think Zoro's being a jerk, but he's actually dropping some serious wisdom. He knows that being a pirate crew isn't all fun and games. There needs to be respect and order. Zoro's basically teaching Luffy how to be a real captain here. It's a tough lesson, but it shows how Zoro's not just the muscles of the crew. He's the backbone. He's making sure the Straw Hats stay strong, even when it means being the bad guy for a bit. Thriller bark, guys. Thriller bark. If you weren't a Zoro fan before this, you definitely were after. Picture this. The whole crew's knocked out, and this super powerful warlord, Kuma, is about to take Luffy. What does Zoro do? He offers to trade his life for Luffy's, but it gets even crazier. Kuma's like, okay, take all of Luffy's pain and fatigue. And Zoro, this absolute mad lad, does it without hesitation. The scene where he's just standing there, covered in blood, saying nothing happened, chills every time. This moment isn't just badass. It shows the depth of Zoro's loyalty. He's not just willing to die for Luffy, he's willing to suffer unimaginable pain for him. It's the ultimate proof that Zoro's 100% committed to Luffy and the crew. Let's fast forward to the time skip. The crew's separated, and where does Zoro end up? On Mihawk's island. Yeah, that Mihawk, the guy who almost killed him way back when. But here's where Zoro shows some serious character growth. He swallows his pride and straight up begs Mihawk to train him. Can you imagine how hard that must have been for Zoro? This guy who's all about honor and pride, bowing his head to his rival. But Zoro knows it's not just about him anymore. He needs to get stronger to protect Luffy and help him become the Pirate King. It's a huge moment of humility and shows how much Zoro's grown. He's putting the crew's needs above his own pride. That's some real character development right there. Alright, now we're in Wano, and holy crap, Zoro is on another level. This arc is like Zoro's playground, and he's showing off big time. First, he gets this epic sword, Enma, which is like trying to tame a wild beast. But Zoro's like, challenge accepted. Then he's fighting alongside Luffy against Kaido. Yeah, that Kaido, the strongest creature in the world. And get this, Zoro actually manages to scar him. That's something only Oden had done before. But the cherry on top? Zoro unlocks his Conqueror's Haki. It's like all his training, all his struggles have led to this moment. Zoro's not just keeping up with Luffy anymore. He's right there beside him, taking on the biggest bads in the One Piece world. Now let's talk about Zoro's role as the first mate. This isn't just some title. Zoro lives and breathes this role. He's like the Rayleigh to Luffy's Roger, if you know what I mean. Zoro's not just Luffy's right-hand man. He's the guy who keeps the whole crew in check. When Luffy's being too reckless, Zoro's there to rein him in. When the crew's losing hope, Zoro's there to whip them back into shape. He's got this perfect balance of respecting Luffy as the captain, while also not being afraid to call him out when needed. And in battle, Zoro's always got Luffy's back, taking on the second strongest enemy, so Luffy can focus on the big boss. It's like watching a perfect partnership in action. So there you have it, the evolution of Roronoa Zoro. We've seen this guy go from a lone wolf with a chip on his shoulder to the ultimate ride-or-die first mate. Zoro's journey isn't just about getting stronger, though he definitely did that. It's about growing as a person, learning to be part of something bigger than himself. He's still got that dream of being the world's greatest swordsman, but now it's tied to Luffy's dream of being the Pirate King. Zoro's not just a badass swordsman anymore. He's the heart and soul of the Straw Hat crew. His loyalty, his determination, his growth, it all makes him one of the most complex and beloved characters in One Piece. From that first meeting in the East Blue to the epic battles in Wano, Zoro's been on one hell of a ride. And the best part? His journey's not over yet. Can't wait to see what's next for our favorite green-haired swordsman. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get the conversation going. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more awesome anime content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.